Hey guys, so I've got over 1,000 miles on the Ram. I think I'm almost at 1,100. I wanted to give you guys an update on the 5 things I hate about this truck. And then I'll tell you some things I like about it as well. But there has been a good amount of frustration in the first few weeks of ownership. Okay, so number 1, gas mileage. This thing, if you drive it like a normal person, gets 14 miles per gallon. I was hoping it would get better after a few miles. It didn't. It also gets terrible gas mileage towing. It gets the same gas mileage towing as my Jeep. Towing at the same speed, which is unacceptable because it's got a V8 and it's got the lowest possible gears and all the towing stuff on it. So it should be more efficient than a Jeep towing a side-by-side on a trailer, you know? So towing a couple thousand pounds, the gas mileage just completely goes to shit. I wouldn't expect it to change that much being how massive this truck is. It's already, you know, pushing a lot of air and it's got the lowest gear ratio. So it should get better gas mileage towing. That is a big disappointment. So number 1 thing I hate about this truck is the gas mileage. It's abysmal. Once I get in there, I'll show you the gas mileage displays and what I've been averaging and stuff. But it's not impressive at all. It's got aero mode and the suspension goes down a little lower. I even tried lowering it an inch farther than that, and the gas mileage just sucks. It's just an old, you know, clunky Dodge V8. It's not a ton of fuel mileage. Okay. Number two thing I hate about this truck is the wind noises. So it's got a bunch of fancy stuff in the cabin for 2022 and I don't know, the previous ones. These are microphones. There are also some in the back. See them back there? And they're supposed to pump the opposite tones into the cabin and do active noise canceling. I'm not convinced it works very good. I'm about to do a project to try to delete the active noise canceling. The connections are under here for the amp and stuff. So we're gonna try that. But it's got a really annoying whistle. And the thing about this whistle is it happens at 70 to 80 miles an hour, which I drive every day. Anytime you have it in recirculate, you get this very high-pitched whistle. Took it to the dealership. They weren't able to repeat it. I got to bring it back in because they can't seem to figure it out. Very high-pitched whistle, right? Listen. All right, now we're going to hit... turn off recirculation. Listen. Number 3 thing I hate about this truck is the backup camera. Several times when I put it in reverse, the backup camera has a blue screen of death, or it flickers between a blue screen of death and the actual scene. This truck's really, really long. It's longer than like most standard trucks because it's a crew cab and it's a full-size bed. Not an 8-foot bed, but a 6-foot 4-inch bed. And you need the backup camera when you're trying to parallel park this thing because you need to use every inch available because it's big and the turning radius is trash. Turning radius sucks, but it's not the thing I hate about it because it should suck for how big it is. But anyways, so that's a real big disappointment. The next thing I hate about the truck is it's missing some of its functionality with the Uconnect system. Now this is a 2022, and for 2022 you get wireless Android Auto, which is great. The Uconnect system also has a better display. It's got more RAM and everything. It's a really pretty picture. Let me show you that. But it's missing some stuff. And the dealership has no idea why. They've opened a case with RAM, and apparently it's a huge mystery. But when you go to this vehicle tab, you're supposed to get 3 things up here. We should say off-road controls and settings. The off-road is missing. That's really frustrating. Also, if you go into these apps, there's a marketplace. You should be able to go through and download additional apps. I have the Wi-Fi hotspot package enabled on this truck. I also have it connected to my home's Wi-Fi for updates, and it just does this loading screen and tells you that connected services are not available right now. So very frustrating. I know it's the first year of Uconnect 5 in the Ram, so kind of expect it to not be perfect, but it's pretty far from perfect. Android Auto does work well. The stereo sounds great, so that's good. The screen's responsive and it's a very good, there you go, there's the error I get. It's a very good, pretty display and all that, but there's no off-road pages. You're also supposed to have some off-road pages in this thing. They're not there either. It does have a lot of great information and the screen is really customizable and I really like it. I just wish I had the off-road pages that I paid for in my $1,000 off-road package. So this is my last tank. So far I'm getting 15.3 and that was driving it as easy as possible. I haven't gone over 75 on the highway and that's what it took to get 15.3. This is my average overall, 14.1. As you can see, that's 500 miles. So it's not overall, that's my last 500 miles. So, you know, that only has a little bit of towing in it. So maybe you get 14.5, but pretty unacceptable. So that leads me to the last thing I hate about this truck, which is its 0 to 60 in quarter mile times. So this thing has a 395 horsepower V8, and it's got the lowest axle ratios, the 392s. So it should be pretty snappy, especially considering it's got the ZF transmission, which is the same one as like the BMW M5, the best transmission in the world, hands down. It still is not that quick. So I'll go ahead and cut over to some 0 to 60 results and show you some pulls and stuff. I went out with the Draggy and spent a couple hours trying to get a good 0 to 60 time in this truck. It is significantly slower than my 6.2 Silverado. It's significantly slower than my 5.0 F-150. It is much more comfortable and heavier and more capable than both of those trucks. It's got nice skid plates and all that stuff and air suspension and all the stuff I wanted, but it is slower than it should be. The real frustrating part of how slow it is that when this truck came out, this body style came out in 2019, Car and Driver tested it and got a half a second faster 0 to 60 time than I've been getting. And my quarter mile times are about 15 seconds. So really not impressed with the acceleration. It should be a lot faster than the EcoDiesel, and it's really a second faster than the EcoDiesel in the quarter mile. And the quarter mile times do subtract rollout because that's how drag strips do it. So I keep repeating that because people keep getting confused, but that's what I did here. So two-wheel drive, I got 7 seconds. Four-wheel drive, I got like 6.9. My best was 6.78, which is like 6.8. Not a very impressive quarter mile time for a 400 horsepower vehicle that can launch in four-wheel drive. Yeah, it's a heavy truck. It's got really good skid plates. It's got good towing. It's got a lot of heavy, fancy things in the cabin, a large cab, large bed. There's a lot of good excuses for it, but that is still 6.8 seconds. It's slower than it should be, especially when you consider that in 2019, Car and Driver tested the exact truck I have, only difference being that they didn't have the low gear ratios, and they got a 6.35 if you do a true time without stretching rollout, and a 14.6. So they're about 0.4 seconds faster on both metrics, a little more than that, than my best runs. And I think this was at 94 miles per hour. So Car and Driver smoked me in 2019, so it sounds like, I did a bunch of stuff. I don't know if they tried something different, but I did a lot of things to try to make things accelerate fast, and I couldn't figure it out. This is the best I could get. So pretty disappointing. I think they might have retuned the truck since then, probably due to some branded legislation or some BS to try to make it more economical, which obviously they didn't because it's still getting 14, 15 miles per gallon, which, by the way, is the same thing Car and Driver got. Okay, so AC off this time. Left foot on the brake, right foot hard down on the gas, let it off, get through second gear, put it in two-wheel drive, keep your foot planted. It really does use the full rev range when it shifts this thing. Very smart transmission. That was a 6.8 second 0 to 60 and a 15.02 quarter mile. Those are the things I really hate about this truck, and they're the reason I'll probably be in a Chevy again soon. I'm looking at the new straight six diesel Chevrolet 1500. I don't like diesels, but that thing is not much of an upcharge over the regular engines, the 6.2. It's actually cheaper than the 6.2, and they've got it set up for 2022 with a new interior in the Chevy, new infotainment, and that diesel finally has the updated cooling and lower gears to tow 13,300 pounds. So it's going to be a towing machine, and of course it'll get better gas mileage than this turd that's getting 14 miles per gallon. So I'll probably be in that Chevy pretty soon. I'm looking at ordering one right now because this thing is pissing me off so bad. The Ram customer service has been pretty poor, and yeah, overall just not really a big fan of Dodge at the moment. My Jeep was a lot better, but again, the Jeep wasn't the first year of a new thing. This is the first year of Uconnect 5, so I expect it to be kind of a pain in the ass. The stuff I love on the truck, I might as well tell you that, just to balance the review so I don't sound like I'm just whining the whole time. Air suspension's awesome. Right now it's at its normal setting and go up and down from there. That's cool. That's in other videos. The skid plates are awesome. The four-wheel drive's been really good. It's worked very well off-road. The rear locker's awesome. You can lock it on pavement. You can lock it whenever you want in two-wheel drive. That makes it fun for scooting around. Oh, another thing I hate, you can't turn the traction control all the way off in two-wheel drive. That's a huge fail. People said you should try to press this button and do those other stuff, and I tried all different combinations and it doesn't work. You can't turn the traction control off in two-wheel drive in this truck. Very sad. It's kind of too long and heavy to be sliding around anyways. It doesn't quite have the power to really hold a slide forever. It's supposed to be 395 horsepower. It doesn't seem to rev the same way, anywhere near as good as that Ford did. Obviously, that was an overhead cam motor, but it also doesn't rev as good as my 6.2 or my 5.3 Silverado. So I don't like this motor a whole lot. I knew that was gonna be the case when I bought it, but I thought it would be a little better. Everyone says these things are quick. They probably haven't driven a 6.2 Silverado it would roast this thing, even on 35-inch tires with a lift kit. So, yeah, I do like the bed. It's really big. Spray and bed liner is super nice. I've been able to fit a lot of stuff in here. These tie downs have actually come in fairly handy. I thought I was going to get rid of them, but they're pretty nice. They're fairly beefy. The bed step, hardly ever use it. It's kind of a gimmick. I only got that for this bed package. I wanted the spray and bed liner. Towing, it's good. It's the self-leveling is really nice with the air suspension. The thing everyone loves about this truck that I also love is the interior quality and feel. The seats are super nice, suede and everything, and leather. I like that I could configure it with a bench seat. The back seats are incredibly comfortable. There's just so much room back here. You can have a case of White Claw back here, a bunch of tools, and still plenty of leg room. And of course, the reclining back seats is great. When you sit back here with that armrest fell down, you feel like you're in a limousine. It's just so much window space and everything. Super nice. But yeah, that's all I got to say about it for now.